Underlying love, beneath the surface it lies, in the whispers of secrets and unspoken ties, caught between the heart's gentle tug and the dance of romance, in the arms of love.
You are listening to Bradley Barkhurst's Underlying Love, a Worthington, Ohio mystery. Chapter 9, Part 1, The Fall Harvest Festival. The next day, Elizabeth awoke early to an unusually warm November morning. Fetching the Worthington newspaper, the newspaper that put service before dollars, the main headline read, "Cards win first game, beating the Groveport Cruisers." Underneath the headline was a photo that Danny had taken of Samuel and George fighting the night before, with the headline reading, "Halftime Brawl Interrupts Football Game." Elizabeth shook her head in disgust. Just then, the roar of a motorcycle approached. It was George, sporting a fresh black eye. Even before dismounting, he began shouting accusations of Elizabeth, two-timing.
"You're a two-timer, Elizabeth Russo. I knew you were up to no good with that Samuel Lewis,"
George said drunkenly. Elizabeth opened the door and shouted.
"I've done no such thing."
She insisted, but George remained belligerent.
"Look, George,"
Elizabeth said, holding up the newspaper.
"You've made the front page. Are you happy now?"
"Get some sense into yourself, Elizabeth,"
yelled George.
"I have, and I have finally had enough,"
said Elizabeth, as she slowly removed the engagement ring from her finger.
"It's over, George,"
she said with finality, dropping the ring into his hand.
"I tried to make this work, but I can't take the jealousy anymore."
Just then, Betty emerged in her nightgown.
"What's all this hooting and hollering so early?"
She scolded.
"Get back inside, you old hag."
George spat venomously. Betty planted her fists on her hips.
"Let me fetch my rolling pin so I can give you another shiner."
With a sneer, George, with the ring in hand, peeled off down the street on his motorcycle, leaving a trail of smoke. Elizabeth felt surprisingly calm. A weight lifted from her shoulders. She had reclaimed power over her own life. Betty squeezed her hand supportively. Elizabeth proclaimed,
"He's such an ass."
"Holy cow, you just figured that one out,"
replied Betty. Gathering her things for the Fall Harvest Festival uptown, Elizabeth steeled herself to face the gossip and whispers about the fight the night before, and her broken engagement that were sure to follow. But she refused to feel embarrassed or ashamed. Elizabeth and Betty headed uptown to help decorate for the Fall Harvest Festival. Elizabeth wanted to focus her energy on something positive for the community. In downtown Worthington, other volunteers were busy transforming the space into an autumn wonderland. People were stringing up colorful leaves, carving jack-o'-lanterns, and arranging bouquets of wheat, sunflowers, and gourds. Elizabeth got to work, hanging paper maple leaves around the concert stage and painting signs with fall motifs. The repetitive tasks soothed her frayed nerves after the dramatic confrontation with George that morning.
"These leaves are just lovely, Elizabeth,"
Betty remarked approvingly.
"Your artistic talent is shining through."
Praise from the usually particular Betty buoyed Elizabeth's spirits. She found satisfaction in creating something beautiful for her hometown, especially during such dark times. The cheery downtown was a testament to Worthington's resilience. She was reminded that her light came from within, regardless of any man or any situation. And today, she would continue shining it brightly at the Fall Harvest Festival alongside friends and neighbors. The coming of winter could not diminish the warmth of their communal bonds. Soon, High Street was closed down for the festivities. A lively crowd gathered, embracing the warmth of fall in the air. Children laughed and played games like apple bobbing. Elizabeth smiled watching them, and almost got roped by a boy dressed as the Lone Ranger, attempting to lasso her for fun.
Whoa there, partner.
She said, playing along while neatly sidestepping his rope. The boy grinned with his toy pistol and ran off to find more targets. Elizabeth wandered among rows of arts and crafts booths displaying their wares: wood carvings, quilts, homemade jams, and baked goods. The scents of cinnamon and apple cider wafted through the brisk air. On the main stage, the singer said the title of the next song is called
Fall Harvest Hoedown.
The lively bluegrass band started playing an upbeat, foot-stomping number. The stand-up bass plucked out a thumping rhythm, while a wiry musician scratched rhythmically on the washboard.
Laughter freely shine. Join the dance, kick up your heels. Come on down to the autumn harvest hoedown. Hand in hand, we'll twirl and spin. Celebrate the bounty that we brought.
Elizabeth tapped her toes along to the driving mountain music as she browsed the booths. It reminded her that just a county or two away lay the start of the Appalachian Hills and the rich culture there. The banjo player picked out a twangy solo, his fingers flying over the strings. The fiddler began enthusiastically sawing away, fedora tilted rakishly as he played. The music pulsed with heart and history, transporting listeners to Appalachian hollers and front porches. Even city slickers like teacher Miss Greener could be spotted trying to learn the steps as dancers whirled by them whooping. Watching her neighbors revel in the homespun melodies, Elizabeth felt connected to generations past who had found joy in humble traditions. The timeless music was the thread bonding the community. Swaying along, Elizabeth clapped her hands. Seeing Worthington residents reveling together under the morning sunshine, spirits seemed lifted from the gloom of recent events. Wandering through the festival, Elizabeth noticed little Amy Collins competing in the corn husking contest. She gave the girl an encouraging smile, but Amy's mother shot Elizabeth an icy glare, which hurried her along. Farther down the street, Elizabeth glimpsed Samuel leaning against the balcony of the New England Inn, tapping his foot to the music drifting up. His nose was bruised from last night's scuffle. Elizabeth approached hesitantly.
How are you feeling?
She asked, indicating his injury. Samuel gave a rueful chuckle.
I felt better, but I'll live.
His expression turned serious.
Elizabeth, I'm deeply sorry for letting my temper get the better of me. I hope you can forgive me.
Seeing his sincerity, her lingering frustration melted away.
Of course, Samuel. Let's put it behind us.
He visibly relaxed.
I'm relieved to hear that.
Glancing around at the merrymaking, he added,
This is a great festival bringing folks together.
Elizabeth followed his gaze to the smiling faces surrounding them. Kids with candy apples, couples dancing, friends chatting over cider. Samuel smiled firmly and offered his arm as the band struck up another rousing mountain reel. Together, they stood on the steps of the inn. Elizabeth put her arms around Samuel's waist. As As they embraced, Elizabeth was struck by how comforted and protected she felt in Samuel's arms. She drew back to look up at him seriously.
I broke off my engagement with George,
she confessed. Samuel's eyes widened in surprise.
I hope it wasn't only because of the fight on my account.
Elizabeth shook her head.
It wasn't just last night, many issues were compounding.
She took a shaky breath.
The truth is, my heart is being pulled in another direction.
At this, Samuel tensed slightly.
What do you mean?
He asked guardedly. Elizabeth squeezed his hands, summoning her courage.
I mean towards you, Samuel. You're my guy. I've never stopped caring for you. Being with you these past weeks, I feel like I've come home.
Samuel stood speechless for a moment before a smile spread across his face.
Oh, Elizabeth, I feel the same way. I never should have left you all those years ago.
He gently cradled her face.
If you will still have me, I want to make things right between us.
Elizabeth's eyes brimmed with happy tears.
There's nothing I want more.
As Samuel leaned in tenderly, the fall harvest festival swirled around them, like leaves swirling in the wind. But Elizabeth was lost in the feeling of his lips against hers, a kiss that tasted of new beginnings. Elizabeth's heart pounded as Samuel drew back from the tender kiss. She felt as though a huge weight had been lifted now that her true feelings were out in the open. Giving his hands an affectionate squeeze, she said,
I need to leave here for a bit. There's someone I need to visit.
Samuel looked curious.
Oh, who's that?
Hobo Jeff.
Elizabeth replied.
He's innocent in all this, and I mean to prove it. I'm going to try talking to him again to see if he remembers anything more about that night.
Samuel nodded understandingly.
That's a fine idea. Let me walk you home.
Elizabeth smiled, gratitude welling up at having such a supportive partner by her side at last. Arm in arm, they made their way through the festive crowd. As Elizabeth and Samuel approached her house, they spotted postal carrier Mr. McFoley placing letters in her mailbox.
Afternoon, Miss Russo. Got an envelope here for you. Looks like it's from the Goodyear Company.
Thank you, Mr. McFoley,
Elizabeth said, hurrying over to take the letter while Samuel lingered behind her. Seeing the Goodyear logo, her pulse quickened. This must be a response to her inquiry about whether the tires she took photos of were used on any specific vehicles.
Thank you for listening to Underlying Love, a Worthington, Ohio mystery. What information will Elizabeth discover in the letter from the Goodyear Company regarding the tires used on specific vehicles? Will Elizabeth successfully clear Hobo Jeff's name before his sentencing? And what obstacles will she face in her quest for justice? And will Betty Wimsfeld find her missing Jell-O recipe? To find out these answers, be sure to tune into further episodes of Underlying Love.